Hi, this is my third video for today, and it's going to be the last video I'm doing for a while because I've got this work to do, some writing I'm doing, so I won't be making videos for quite a while or really on social media very much. So I'm just going to do this last one for today. Mother weeps after illegal cannabis oil supply for epileptic daughter is confiscated. My child is suffering every day. I'm at my wits' end. This is horrendous. It's something that far too many people in Britain are really suffering and struggling with pain. They're forced to use actually dangerous, toxic. They are toxic. You know, let's face the facts. You can OD on these painkillers. They're dangerous. They've got side effects. They are toxic. Cannabis, on the other hand, no amount of it's going to kill you. I mean, the amount you'd have to eat for it to have a toxic effect on you, you wouldn't physically be able to blooming eat it. And yet, here we have a child obviously using it for medicinal purposes, and they've confiscated her medicine. And they're telling this mother that, no, sorry, your daughter has to use pharmaceutical products that are toxic and dangerous, and she will become addicted to and dependent on, and will slowly weaken in their impact over time. She has to use those. And there are people that are calling for, you know, make medical cannabis legal and all this type of stuff. It's like, look, let's just remove prohibition of all the drugs. It is causing far too much damage to our society. It's feeding crime and criminals. It's contributing huge funds to global criminal networks that have gained in power. I mean, to the extent, you know, they're running the bloody CIA, for goodness sake. You know, we know Parliament itself is full of its drug addicts. We've got, you know, there was George Osborne's senior advisor, wasn't he, in a crack den, and we've all seen George Osborne sat in Parliament tripping his bloody face off while he's supposed to be managing the country's economy. Well, it was easy. It was an easy enough job for a Tory MP to do, innit? Because let's face it, what it came down to was robbing the poor to feed the rich. So, you know, pretty simple. A guy on fucking crack cocaine could manage it, couldn't he? Let's face it. But this is really disgusting. A 9-year-old girl. And what, as again, this is a theme running through all my videos today. Again, it is the total apathy of the British people that is even more disgusting. More disgusting is the fact that this can happen in Britain. Okay? More disgusting is the fact that people will just go, oh, and put their heads down, and nobody will do anything, and nobody will speak out, and everybody will just keep on talking about Brexit and moaning about immigrants or Muslims, but never really, you know, has a Muslim removed this child's painkiller? Is an immigrant responsible for this? No. No. This government, our so-called laws, it isn't a law. I'm sorry, a law that does not protect us, that forces us to rely on pharmaceutical created toxins as opposed to a natural harmless plant. Okay, that's not a fucking law. That's a crime against our humanity. That is a crime. How dare... I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy. Oh, no, no, you can't have that harmless plant. You'll get put in prison. And the people who need it, most of them, because it's illegal, they can't afford it, even if they could get hold of it. Because it's too expensive. when really everybody should be able to grow it in their own home, shouldn't they? But no, we've got a global pharmaceutical industry to keep going here. I tell you, this is another key issue, and I have stated that, you know, in my previous video, very firmly, in all 3 videos, look, the key issue here is removing the legal definition, minor, against our children. It isn't a very little thing. A word is not a very little thing. When it comes to law, because that's the legal definition, don't forget, that's legally how a child is defined. This system, power, evil criminal cabal that's controlling us, it does use the full power of the words for the law, to the letter of the law. And this issue of a child being a minor concern, again, is a reason why they can continue with this madness of the ban against cannabis. Okay? That's why they can continue, because this child is a minor concern. The impacts of prohibition on children are a minor concern. You see? And that's why the first thing we need to do is to remove the legal definition of our children as minor. They need to be accepted for what they are, legally defined as very important persons, because they are developing human beings. They are our future. They are the future of our species. Okay? So they are very important. And anything that impacts negatively on children is a very serious issue, because it's impacting on our VIPs. Now do you understand the way the law suddenly turns around? Oh, sorry, corporations and governments and government ministers. The whole law system of law isn't there just to serve you. It's equally there to serve these little children. And actually, when it comes between their needs and your needs, they come first. The last shall be first. Because if you can't attend properly to the little things of life, then you're never going to be able to deal with the bigger things. And that's why they keep us focused on the bigger things. So we don't really look at the little things. We're just going to accept this, even though probably half the country right now is using cannabis. And all keeping very quiet. Because there's not enough noise. There's not enough noise. And this is what I mean about the apathy. I'm sick of it. I am. It is disgusting. It's disgusting, because silence equals consent. And I look at the people of Iceland. You know, they just fill my heart with hope for humanity. When I looked at those people and thought, my gosh, yeah, there are people that sit down and really talk with each other about what's really going on in their country and about how things are impacting on their children. They are a people that all together turned around and said, yeah, we're not having this. And every one of them in every neighbourhood in Iceland, outside their parliament, outside their MPs' homes, were stood there peacefully, not rioting, peacefully banging their pan lids and pans together, making a noise. We want you out. They stood there for hours in minus, below freezing temperatures, banging their pots. No, we are not moving. The police joined with them. Everybody rose up and said, no, we aren't having this crime being committed. We are not paying their debt. How dare you? How dare you? You want to dump this debt on our children? It's going to be forever, forever. No, no. But the people of Britain, quiet as a little mouse. Mousy, mousy, mousy. But when you look at the amount of violence that's being perpetrated between the citizens themselves, the amount of stabbings in London, the amount of women and children being battered, even the amount of young men, you know, the amount of men being battered. Oh, well, it seems that The people are quite violent here. I mean, you see people screaming and shouting and threatening to punch each other's lights out over, you know, a minor traffic detail. Yeah, it seems there's a lot of anger here. There's a lot of aggression into stamping on each other. But it's time that we united, and we do need key issues to unite under, you know. The first one, removing that legal definition of minor against our children. It's a serious issue and you need to pick up on it. The second one, ending prohibition against cannabis. I mean, I would say end prohibition full stop, because it's costing us far too much money, it's far too much police time is focused on it. Actually, we need police. When we accept the children aren't minor human beings, the police are going to need to be focusing all their attention on dealing with these child abusers. You see? So, you know, no time really for messing about with prohibition. Legalise the lot. Tax it, regulate it. Legalise the lot. Let's all start benefiting from the natural produce of our environment, as opposed to a load of criminals and crooks. Because they are benefiting through this prohibition. They're making millions of illicit funds. They're buying weapons with it. They're people trafficking with it. They're buying children with it. I mean, how long are we going to tolerate it? Because people are just going to be quiet. Because, oh, you don't talk about things like that, and you're not allowed to get upset. Don't forget, we're all meant to be emulating psychopaths, aren't we? Because apparently that shows you're an intelligent human being if you are disconnected from your emotions. I had to battle to get connected with my emotions after the trauma. I had to go through the layers of trauma and pain and fear and terror in order to get in touch with my emotions. You think I'm going to abandon them for the sake of a load of psychopaths and their sick judgments against me? No. You see, that's a sign of strength, that you can feel the emotion, but you don't act purely on the emotion, do you? The emotion alerts me there is something wrong here. And then I want to know how to address it. So I do my research, I understand. That's why I can make these videos. So, you know, like I say, I've made quite a few videos recently and I've tried to give direction. I've tried to give guidance. And, I mean, very few people watch. But I hope those that do share and start talking about the content. You know, forget about me, the presenter, the presenter, okay? Talk about the content. Talk about my experience. The light being. Talk about that. Talk about the universal law. Talk about our quantum energy light being body. You know, I dare you to step out of the twilight zone and into reality. Because as far as I'm concerned, these broad highways that we're allegedly travelling down, okay, they are a road to nowhere. You find life in the little windy paths that aren't so smooth and even cut, because nobody's paying any attention to them. They're too busy going down the easy routes. Oh yeah, what do we talk about? Let's talk about decorating the lounge. Let's talk about anything except what is really happening, because as I say, these are serious times. These are not the times for apathy and complacency. These are not the times for ignorance. Ignorance is not bliss. Because ultimately, it's going to be a very rude awakening. Now, I know that awakening. I experienced it. As I say, I grew up in it. It was my childhood. that this world tried to convince me for years after, no, that was just you were unfortunate, you had an unfortunate experience. The world is actually good, it is actually a lovely place. Oh really? Alright, yeah. I try to get on in it, I try to live in it, I try to live up to it and find that no, actually, it isn't. My reality is actually a common reality of for most children on this planet. Growing up in poverty and deprivation. And you start to understand that our lives are a microcosm of the bigger picture. And I'm so sad for this family. I mean, it is absolutely outrageous. It's outrageous. And, you know, I mean, I'll leave you the link. It is so outrageous. It really should break everybody's heart. It is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. The insanity of it itself is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to witness an apparently professional, intelligent person in the form of our government and legal system saying to this little 9-year-old girl, no, you cannot have this harmless plant material. You're a criminal, your mum's a criminal, the police have got to come and confiscate it and traumatise you. Because your medicine is a crime. But here, have this medicine that costs X amount of money for the government and gives this much money to a pharmaceutical company and is actually ultimately bad for you and will probably damage you and will become less effective over time and that you'll probably become addicted to. Come and use this. I mean, that's heartbreaking. That is heartbreaking to me. That an intelligent species can accept that. I find it heartbreaking. I find it difficult to fucking live with. The silence is deafening. And it kills.